What if I told you that being smart could be one of the dumbest things you flaunt in this world? That your intelligence, your hard-earned wisdom, your sharp wit, could be the very thing that holds you back. You see, philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer believed in a paradox so radical, it turns our entire value system upside down. According to him, the smartest mistake you can make is to play the fool. Yes. To pretend to be less intelligent than you are. Sound crazy? Give me just a few minutes, and I'll show you why Schopenhauer might be more right than you have ever imagined. Before we dive into this radical idea, let's understand the man behind it. Arthur Schopenhauer was a 19th-century German philosopher, known for his pessimistic outlook on life, his raw honesty, and a style that often cut through the polite facades of society like a blade. He wasn't the kind of thinker who sugar-coated things. Life, he said, was full of suffering. Human desires. Insatiable. The pursuit of happiness. An illusion. But it was not just gloom for gloom's sake. Within this dark framework, Schopenhauer uncovered stunningly clear insights about the human condition, especially about how people react to intelligence. Unlike many philosophers, Schopenhauer did not just write for academics. His words were direct. Blunt. Sometimes even brutal. But therein lies his brilliance, because he exposed truths we all sense, but few dare to say aloud. And one of those truths? That the world does not reward intelligence, it punishes it. Now think about this. Have you ever been in a room where you knew the right answer, but hesitated to say it? Maybe at work, where offering a better idea than your manager might be seen as threatening, not helpful. Or among friends, where making a clever observation gets you eye rolls instead of admiration. Schopenhauer saw this clearly. He argued that intelligence, though admired from a distance, is often punished up close. Because the more intelligent you are, the more you reveal others' shortcomings simply by existing. Here is a story. A young man named Elias was known for his brilliant mind. At just 27, he joined a prominent consulting firm. Within months, he was solving complex problems that had baffled senior executives. But instead of being rewarded, he found himself iced out. His ideas were quietly dismissed, his promotions delayed. Why? Not because he was wrong, but because he made others feel inadequate. Elias eventually learned to temper his insights. He started asking more questions, giving others space to arrive at the ideas he already knew. And suddenly, his social capital rose. People started listening, respecting, even promoting him. What changed? Not his intelligence, but how he wielded it. Schopenhauer wrote that, a man of intellect is lost if he does not add to his intelligence a certain amount of cunning. In other words, being smart isn't enough. You have to be smart about your smartness. This is where the paradox comes in. The smartest mistake you can make, is to appear less smart. Not because you're ashamed of your mind, but because you understand people. Because when you're seen as non-threatening, you're often given more freedom, more truth, and more room to maneuver. When people think you're not paying attention, they speak more openly. When they don't see you as competition, they let down their guard. And when they underestimate you, they hand you opportunities they would otherwise hoard. There's power in being underestimated. This isn't just philosophy, history is full of it. Think of Socrates. The wisest man in Athens, who claimed to know nothing. He walked the streets asking so-called experts simple questions. And by doing so, he exposed their ignorance. Not through attack, but through humility. Or take Sun Tzu, who advised, appear weak when you are strong. That's not cowardice. That's strategy. Even in modern times, we see it. Warren Buffett, one of the most intelligent investors alive, often plays the folksy, down-to-earth Midwesterner. But behind that humble demeanor is a mind sharper than steel. And there is another story. This one from World War II. British intelligence created a fictional officer named Major William Martin. They planted false invasion plans on his body and let it wash up on the Spanish shore. The Germans found it, believed it, and moved their forces, completely fooled. The Allies had made themselves appear foolish. And it won them a war campaign. The lesson? Sometimes, appearing foolish isn't just clever. It is lethal. So how can you use this in your own life? Let's bring it down to the everyday. In your workplace, instead of being the one who always has the final word, try asking the right question. Let others talk. Let them feel smart. And when the time is right, drop a quiet insight that redirects the whole conversation. In your relationships, instead of pointing out every flaw or mistake, learn when to be silent. Sometimes it is not about being right, it is about being effective. In negotiations, let others think they're getting the better deal. People trust those who seem simple, who seem open. And that trust? That is leverage. And perhaps most importantly, be a good observer. A man once said, when you're talking, you're not learning. The less you show, the more you see, but let's be clear, this isn't about deceit. It's not about hiding who you are. It's about timing. About knowing your audience. Because what good is your brilliance if no one's willing to hear it? Schopenhauer's insight is this: intelligence is not a performance, it's a tool. And sometimes, the tool you don't reveal, is the one that makes the biggest impact. So what's the takeaway? Be wise enough to know when to appear unwise. Be strong enough to seem weak, when the moment calls for it. Be confident enough in your intelligence that you don't need to prove it at every turn. Because in the end, true power doesn't scream. It doesn't demand. It watches. It listens. And then, when the time is right, it moves decisively. Now that you know Schopenhauer's secret, what will you do with it? Will you walk into the world, wearing your intelligence like armor, or will you learn the subtle art of playing the fool? If this perspective challenged you, inspired you, or even pissed you off, good. That means it stirred something real. Hit that like button if you found value here. Subscribe for more deep dives into dangerous ideas that just might make your life a little wiser. And drop a comment. Have you ever had to downplay your intelligence to get ahead? I would love to hear your story. Until next time, stay sharp. Stay silent when it counts. And remember, the smartest mistake you can make, just might be the one that saves you.